Hey, Zane. Zane. Hey. Will you help support me when I make this video? Or what? No? No? Okay. Oh god. So I made sure to film this video last today, so just in case I start crying. But yeah, as you can see, my cat died. Not this one, obviously. But Libby, you have seen her throughout the years. Every so often, she had moments when she would decide to be on my bed, and moments, most of the time she wouldn't be, at least not while I was filming. On May 8th, 2019, around, I want to say maybe 11:20 or something in the morning, we had to put her down. I've had this cat for, let's see, I got her when I was 12 and I'm 28 in July. And her birthday would have been in about 2 months. I think early July or something. We didn't know for sure when she was born, okay? But I got her when she was 10 months. So I kind of noticed that in the last month or so, she was getting skinnier. She was the runt of her litter, so she was always the smallest. She was always around 5 to 6 pounds, and every time we take her to the vet, she was always fine, you know. And then she had her checkup in February, and she lost a pound, but the doctor cleared her, you know, just told me to keep an eye on her and whatnot. And about somewhere in April, I noticed that she wasn't eating as much, and I think it was because of her teeth. She didn't have a lot of teeth left. She had to get a lot taken out a couple of years ago. She just wasn't eating her big food pieces anymore. They were the only ones that she would eat. And I noticed that she wasn't able to eat those. I think it's just because she was getting really old, you know? She was really frail. When I switched her to wet food, I thought she was getting better because she started eating a lot more and she was really enjoying the food and she seemed fine. She was a little dirtier than normal, but you know, we cleaned her up. I mean, she's getting old, you know? And then the weekend before that Wednesday, I drove to Chattanooga for a speaking engagement. She was still fine. She was eating more and walking around, and I was feeling a lot more hopeful. I was thinking this is gonna be fine. And then I came back, and on Tuesday, she wasn't really doing very well. She would have moments when she would just fall over, and this is actually something that happened about in March, I want to say, but it was one time, so I didn't really think anything of it. But on Tuesday, after I came back, it's like all the progress that she was making suddenly stopped. And when I would pick her up and put her down, she would just barely be able to stand. It was weird because she'd be able to jump on counters on her own, but, I mean, she did fall at one point. But if you were to pick her up and put her down, she wasn't able to stand on her own. She'd fall over, and she just wasn't eating all of a sudden anymore. She was just done. Even the wet food that she started to love so much, it wasn't doing it for her anymore, and she was just getting skinnier. So I took her to the vet, and he said that she was very dehydrated. She was very skinny. She couldn't stand on her own. They were trying to help her stand and whatnot, and it wasn't working. And, you know, I told them, you know, I started switching food, and she was doing better, and it was looking really, really hopeful. But all of a sudden, she was crashing. And I was talking to him, and I was like, is there anything that we can do? Test. And he was like, to be quite honest, if you weren't bringing her in now, she would likely be dying tomorrow or the day after. And that's when I knew that it was just best to let her go so she could stop suffering. It took a while to do it. You know, they let you hold your cat in a nice little red blanket, you know, get a chance to say goodbye and whatnot. Oh god, it sucked. Are you enjoying yourself, Zane? They put the thing in her, the anesthesia to put her to sleep, and then gave me another minute, and then it happened. She was gone. And it sucks because I can't help but feel like I killed her. Obviously, the more humane thing to do was to let her go. She could stop suffering, otherwise she'd be suffering another day or two in the house, and that's not what I want. stuck around for another 15-20 minutes because I didn't want to leave. And part of me was like, come back, can we bring her back? But obviously that wouldn't have done any good. You know, it'd be nice if pets could speak English. Because aside from her not eating as much, having trouble eating, she seemed to be fine. You know, she was always a cat that would just sleep. You know, she wasn't very active. She just wanted to sleep, lay out in the sun on the floor because we have a glass door and whatnot, look out the window. So she was your everyday normal cat, at least in terms of Libby. And then, well, when I made changes and saw good improvement, I was like, I just thought, this is gonna be great. And obviously things can change so quickly. But you know, she was getting ready to be 16 or 17. I can never remember how old she is. I'm terrible at remembering how old my cats are for some reason. She was just getting there, you know. By the time this video goes up, it'll be 3 weeks tomorrow that she passed away, or since she passed away. I have the urn, and I'm actually going to pick up the paw print today on the day that this goes up. If you want to follow me on Instagram or something, I'll post a picture there because I won't be able to put it up in this video. This is the first time a cat of mine has died in front of me. I've had 2 cats before that are gone, but they were indoor-outdoor cats. They went out one day and they just never came back. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know if they're still alive or whatever. I started making my cats indoor. Libby and Zane, both indoor cats. That's how it's going to be from now on. And I was thinking, oh God, is it going to be harder to have Libby die in front of me? Or is it going to be harder not knowing what happened to my other 2 cats? I kept thinking that Libby was going to be much harder or my missing cats were going to be much harder. I don't think that's a question I can answer for myself, to be honest. Well, I guess maybe not knowing what's been going on with my other 2 cats is harder because there's never any real closure. Whereas with Libby and what would happen with Zane in the future, I have closure. I got to properly say goodbye to Libby, and that will happen with Zane. And you know, I had a scare with Zane last year. You plastic eating monster. And I think about last year, what would have happened last year if, you know, he wouldn't have made it through. This was definitely quite the experience for me. One that I never want to deal with again, although it will happen. As long as you adopt pets, that will happen. Not an experience I would wish on anyone else, but if you have pets, we know what's gonna happen. On a positive note, I'm glad that I decided to cremate Libby so I could have her remains, and so, you know, she's still with me. She's on my little bookshelf DVD shelf in the living room, and so I can look at it and say hello. It is weird not having her here. For the first couple of days before I had to fly out to Boston on business, I would run up the stairs thinking that she was going to be in the other room looking out the window or laying down and being adorable. When I had white shoes lying around, I thought they were Libby. When I came downstairs, I was thinking, oh, Libby's going to be on the couch, and, you know, now it's so sunny, it's so hot in North Carolina. She loved the sun and she would just lay out and sunbathe, and I'm like, I think now and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna see Libby do that. Oh, it sucks. In honor of Libby, yesterday I did do a Twitch stream for a charity. It was dedicated to Libby, and we raised $50 for Orphan Kitten Club, and on top of my donation a few weeks ago, that's basically up to, I think, $60 or $65. I can't remember how much I donated. So if you came to my Twitch stream and donated or just, you know, hung around and said hello, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. So with that, you know, I'm very glad that I got to be with Libby for as long as I did. Very glad that she was in my life. She helped me through a lot. And yeah, say hi to Chocolate and Baxter for me. I'll see you later. Bye.